Yep, another what's it? Weekly reset is about to happen, so make sure everyone goes into the store and get all the things that they need. I think I pretty much used up too much last time for like the honor coins. I get the main things, but I don't have too much to spend on other stuff. Okay, oh yeah. And just a normal shop. And the reclaim store. That would have been, I'm gonna try to hoard my currency a little bit more. Yeah, for now. I get the certain things like during every reset, but the other ones I'll kind of save off on it. Oh, and a little bit of news. Spain won the World Cup, and I believe it was England that is like England and France were fighting for third place. Their round to me, I thought was like way more exciting because they were going at it too. They were fighting for third place, but they were fighting hard. Yeah, right now, the new World Cup winners of 2026 is Spain. Yeah, there is some other news of the World Cup, but I think we could kind of, I think everyone knows. They seen the videos, they know. So, oh, oh no, why did I push that? Okay. I'm surprised they actually just rehashed this one boss fight again from season 1 to season 3. I was kind of shocked. I was like, you guys are already running out of ideas. On the other hand, that's what I'm saying. Enfield did pretty good. 1.4 patch. They put a lot in that patch, even though it's supposed to be the half anniversary patch. They didn't really like kind of like emphasize that part. They just kind of like, yeah, this patch would have a lot this time. I was like, well, okay. And it sure did. It sure had a lot in that. I think today, yeah, today I'll probably be able to finish the last side quest. So it took me almost a week to finish the side quest, or the main story and the side quest. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I just sat there and like, you know, some of those other people who just like, they do everything in just one sitting, like, if I just like, no, sleep like a normal person, you could probably do it in one sitting, but it'll be pretty hell. I had no intention of doing that. Almost like when since Dark Arisen is coming out, once a release date for that patch of Dragon's Dogma 2, and they're saying that their Dragon's Dogma, or no, Dark Arisen, that DLC for Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be like way bigger than the original game of Dragon's Dogma 2, because they're saying that it's kind of like oh, we're sorry that we weren't able to fully realize Dragon's Dogma, the vision for it. So they had to pull that ripcord and do a Dark Arisen to be able to like save it. Almost like those who didn't know, Dragon's Dogma, just the first one, it was kind of like, I wouldn't say like an unfinished game, but like there's some parts of where they didn't get like fully realize their idea, and then they made Dark Arisen, but I think Dark Arisen was made by a different company. So that's why they made Dragon's Dogma 2, because the creator was like, you weren't able to fully realize my vision, and he still kind of messed it up. He's like, oh, I still wasn't able to mint real. It's like, at that point, maybe you're just not a good producer, man. Because I can't really say that because it does have some replayability for Dragon's Dogma 2. What I say is more replayability compared to 1, I'm not really sure. I mean, I played 1 multiple times, but I'm not sure it's because of the replayability portion. But by the time I think I played Dragon's Dogma 1, they already had Dark Arisen. I just didn't get Dark Arisen. I think immediately, I think I waited a little bit to get it, or did it come with it? I'm pretty sure I didn't have it originally. And plus, I think I borrowed it from a friend. The original Dragon's Dogma. He was like, oh, this is really good. Why did I make him sound like that? I don't know. No, he has. I'm not sure now. He likes to play like weird indie games, like the ones that were like, I'm just like, man, I never heard of this game. And he did a little bit of voice acting in it, so no, that's what was cool. Was it? Yeah, he gets a lot of games, but he doesn't really get to play them. So at least they have 1 playthrough on him because I did, like, I borrowed a lot of his games, and I was just like, oh, okay. It's like some of them I know he bought it, but he didn't like touch the game. I mean, but he has, man, his taste in games are really good. What can I say? Even his strange games that I thought was kind of strange, even then it's like, he's not picking like games that are straight up unplayably bad. So. Some people have a knack for that. They just know like, oh yeah, I think this game's gonna be good. I mean, I don't have a knack for like finding out like in games like which one I think is gonna be good, but I am good at like different comics. Or like this one, I'm reading a manga. I'm like, uh, I think we're gonna make this into an anime. Yep, it just has that vibe to it. That in like nowadays is like there's not a lot of original anime. They just like no like the olden days, I guess. A lot of it's based off a light novel, a game, a comic. So for the past few years, it's like pretty easy to tell like when you're like reading certain things when you read it, you're like, oh, this is popular, like it, or not even that. Like even when it's like really new, almost like before Jujutsu Kaisen became an anime, I remember reading it on like, but I read it like in weird parts. So like I read like random chapters of it before like I didn't know who the main character was because a lot of the chapters I read is I had like I think a little bit of Gojo's backstory. I read a little bit of that. Then when oh, and I saw a mistranslation of the Black Flash when Yuji used it the first, or not the first time when he used it on was it Kechizu or something? That one, I was like I had no context on what was going on, so it was like for me it was like hard to figure out like who's the main character. Like I saw like 2 random chapters and it's not the full chapter, and I was like I have no idea, but I kind of knew the fighting, no, some of the fight scenes. Like yeah, this is gonna be an anime. It took a long time though. Remember, like I was trying to figure out like out of Toji and Geto, like I was trying to figure out who the main character was because like I was like looked at Toji, I was like he looks like he'll be the main character, but he seems like a dick. Geto, like he's using like monsters and stuff, like he seems like he'd be kind of a bad guy. Like he has like bad guy abilities. Then I mean later on I found I was semi right. Because if you look at was a Megami with his hair down, he looks kind of like Toji, father like son, or son like father. There. There we go. But yeah, that one, like, if you just read like or just a random chapter in between of a let's say like a comic, and then try to figure out who the main characters are, especially if it's a chapter not focused on the main characters, it becomes like really difficult to find out like, wait a minute, who am I rooting for? Like I like those comics where like sometimes where it shows like a good example is if you read Hunter x Hunter and read a chapter where like the Phantom trope is actually like fighting the Chimera ants, you would assume that they were the good guys and the Chimera ants are bad guys. Then in the next chapters, you see the Phantom trope being the Phantom trope, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought they were good. Like, nope. So they were the bad guys. Yeah, so that's what sometimes I know when people like read a comic, they start off like maybe like in the middle, then they find, or because sometimes there's like a good example of the reason why some people start in the middle, and you might know people are probably thinking, why don't you start from the beginning? I do understand why, especially for anime. Like, I like Kingdom, that anime, right? It's about like the unifying of China, right? Was during the three, not really the three kingdoms, like was it before or after? But either way, it's around that time. And if you watch the first two seasons of the anime, it has like CGI, kind of like that shitty CGI that everyone hates. It uses that, and I would understand why someone would skip the first two seasons of the anime to watch the third season. Third season is actually hand drawn again, and it looks better, a lot better. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that they watch the series and say, oh, I think the dedicated ones read the book up until season 3, then they started watching the show. Other ones is just like they were so off put, but I mean, my sister's one of them. They're so off put by the shitty art that they just couldn't. I was like, I don't blame her. The season 1 and 2 of Kingdom, it looked pretty rough. For anyone who read the comic book of it, you're like, okay, no, that's kind of it's the usual. I mean, going back like right now, people was a kind of I talk about how the Kubotai, his bleach art is like really good. But if you look at, let's say, the main character Ichigo, and you look at chapter 1 him and now him, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, his art developed a lot, right? And if you go back even farther, the reason why I like Bleach the most was his previous comic he made was called Zombie Powder, and I liked that art. I was like, oh, it was very like no. It kind of gave me especially that there's a comic version of comic, right? If you've ever read the comic of Trigun, or like just that kind of series, right? It looks a lot like that kind of art, so that's why I liked Bleach more. I mean, that's why I also like low key. I wanted to do more seasons of Blood Blockade Battlefront, Kekkai Sensen. I want more of that one. I just also like their music too. They have a good I think they use Unison Square Garden. They did the opening of season 1 and they did the ending of season 2. Union Square Garden, they used to just do like kind of like the Yoasobi of today, which are the people who do like the Gundam opening and what's the one other show? The Idol show, where like the main characters, like there's pretty much takes place with the two twins, and it's kind of like a depressing story a little bit. That one. But yeah, says Union Square Garden does a lot of their songs. It's almost like oh no, they also do Yozakura Quartet. They do I think all their openings. Kind of like how there was another series that did that. Like they're doing almost all the, or Jam Project does like anything with Super Robots is how you could be Jam Project. Oh, back in the day, it was Ali Project. They used to do like, and a lot of their songs kind of sound kind of alike. So they used to do the, it was them, almost like Myth and Royd. They were like more of a, no, Myth and Royd, if that is even really a, I'm not sure if that's how I'm describing it correctly. There was another series that I realized recently that did like, oh man, they do, I think all their openings. Oh man, I cannot remember. It was some show. Oh yeah, almost I forgot. Chainsaw Man is Yonezu Kenshi. He, I think he did the. It's only been like one season, but he did the season and the movie. I'm pretty sure they're gonna get him to do the next season and the next movie. I think the next one. Did they confirm it's gonna be a season or is it a movie? I know they're gonna probably do that for JJK. It's gonna be season, movie, then season. Is what I think, unless the last season they just split that up into movies and stuff. They might just do that, kind of like what they did with Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer, it would have been 2 more seasons, technically. I think they're splitting it to 2 movies. I'm surprised the artist hasn't made anything else afterwards. The artist does want to do a character for Fate Grand Order, because the Fate Grand Order, that game, they kind of commission a lot of different artists. So they do that. I mean, that's, look, if you're going to make a gacha game, right? Gacha games are once you're just buying the PNG, which is the art, right? That's why games who are smart, like Fate Grand Order, they just commission different like artists to do that. I think is way smarter than like some other comes like, oh no, we just use this one artist, right? Which is good sometimes if the artist is really good. Like you could tell like a lot of the original, like, was it like Fate Grand Order stuff was like made by the main Fate guy, right? And you could tell his art style like a mile away. But as time went on, they're like, okay, no, we probably need to just. Oh, I probably need to go back to town, don't I? First. Okay, we'll go back to town first. Yeah, there's like a few gacha games that kind of do that, where they don't use other artists, they just use one. And I think it's like more like, it's like flavorful if you use like different artists and stuff. Like there's artists that never really drew like any kind of fighting thing. I think like Honey Clover did like a very famous character in Fate Grand Order, and a few other artists that doesn't really draw that kind of theme of stuff, and they drew stuff for it, and that's what those characters sold well, because people were like, oh, I want a character with that art, or like, I like that artist. Yeah. Or like the character looks so uncanny compared to all the other characters. You're just like, what in the hell? I do enjoy that when they do, they go out on a limb and do some crazy art like that. Nowadays, they're getting people from like was it like Twitter and all that, or even on YouTube. They'll get like artists from there. One thing that, even though the JJK fans cannot read, one thing I do give them credit for is, like, man, they are able to make like the fandom of JJK. They have a lot of good like animators and just artists in general. So they're like always making like, oh, let me make this one fan animation of the whatever the one of the Gojo fights and stuff. It's like and it looks really good. So yeah, that I was giving credit for that. And the same thing with their art is what carries, I think, a lot of like, if you think of any kind of like long-standing gacha game, is either like, I think the art does carry it more than the story. Like if the story is also good, like the original Arknights, even though like I think what kills it for me, like instead of just like there's sometimes they just keep on going back to like it's like them going back to Wuling is like that problem, like that one or the whole I forgot the pretty much like they go back to like one specific area a lot, kind of like what Fate Grand Order does with Camelot. They always have the excuse to go back to Camelot. So that's why I think it's like kind of like a lot of games they do that, right? They have that one place like things with Star Rail, right? Star Rail likes to go back to like their version of that, or like they have like that one area they just keep on going back to. It's like, bro, you have like go to different places. Like people want that. I mean, that's the problem right now. Enfield is having people are kind of getting tired of that one place. It's like, hey, just move on to the next place. But at the same time, right? I was like, I think it's good to develop, like leave it once you fully develop it, right? That's better instead of just having like those places where like, oh, we were here for like a patch. So it's like, oh, like we had like a month of this one place and then we just move on. Like that, I think is extra trash. So having a place that's fully developed, oh, the map is big as hell. I think in the long run, that's good because then if anyone gets into the game like 2 years later on, right? Then they could be like, oh my god, this game has too much stuff to do. That's the best. Like, oh yeah, your game is known for having just too much things to do. Like, oh man, what's it? My steak was too juicy. My lobster is too buttery. Yeah, that's a good kind of problem to have. Okay. You know what? Skimmer's Lair? I don't think I've really like looked around in Skimmer's Lair. Just I'll take a look around. Yeah, there is another art one that like yeah, to me the art carries it is like Grand Blue Fantasy. Grand Blue Fantasy, I think that game is carried a lot by its art. I say this because I think one of the artists that was from that group is they made the character designs of War of the Visions, and I thought that game looked really cool. Okay, no, come there. No, never mind. I didn't need to do that. Oh yeah, that game is carried by its art. And honestly, oh, you know what's another sad thing? Speaking of news, right? I try to bring a little bit of news into the Square Enix. They kind of like leased their Final Fantasy IP, Final Fantasy 14 IP out to this other company which made the cell phone version of Final Fantasy 14, and Square Enix is already discontinuing that game. At this point, I think Square Enix needs to just finally realize, like, you know what? Since you don't want to put any money into cell phone games, stop doing it then. Like, stop wasting everyone's time. Stop wasting your own time. Make another Final Fantasy, right? Like, why don't you go, like, instead of playing around with these gacha games, make a Final Fantasy 16. Not 16, 17. Like FF17, that's what they need to be making. I mean, low-key, they also need to hairpin drop Kingdom Hearts, but, yeah. And make sure this time he has some replayability. Yeah, why don't you do that for a change, Square Enix? Are they going to? Absolutely not. Sometimes they're like annoyingly greedy. Not in a sad part, they're annoyingly greedy, but not in a very like smart economic way. They kind of like they do everything kind of half-assed, then they like end up cutting their their own game, and then they wonder why, like, huh? Why aren't people happy? You're like, you don't say. It's like, are you guys serious? Okay, not here. Am I just going the wrong way? Oh, that's because it wants me to go out. But yeah, they just killed another game, another cell phone game. This just makes me go like, just make me shake my head. I was like, really, Square Enix? Really, you can't be trusted with anything, what's a cell phone related? Honestly, I wouldn't like, unless it's like War of the Divisions 2, and I don't think they would ever make a cell phone game of that one again. If they do, they'll probably do it for console, kind of like they were doing for Final Fantasy Resonance, which is FFBE, but on console. It should have been like that in the first place. Like like Square Enix, you know you cannot fuck with gacha games. Stop doing it. Anything cell phone related, you guys are trash at. If anything, like they're not even good at what's it? I think like online multiplayer kind of game, or like competitive multiplayer, I guess. Like anything akin to like a Apex Legends or like a Ludo shoot, anything like that, they should not be touching. That I don't know why the Square Enix cannot do that to save their own lives. Like they are awful at it. I think they just only like care about like just money now. So if they don't see the numbers go up like a lot initially, they just say, "Oh yeah, I guess it's bad. Hope I don't like it." And there's certain, I mean, I think I don't think it's just maybe not just a Square Enix thing. I think it might be just a Japan thing. Japan's kind of silly like that. Like I think also Sony makes really bad decisions as well. But I mean, they're dumb enough to like put a lot of like millions and millions into like other like really dumb games where everyone's like, "Who the fuck is who's this for?" They'll like throw millions at that, but any game that's like, this one maybe it's like a slow starter, like it's not gonna make like a lot of money soon, but like it'll get there, right? They can't like they don't have the patience to wait, which is weird because Japan used to be known for like their patience is a virtue kind of thing, but don't know why. Well, I don't know when that changed. Yeah, they made some silly ass decisions too. A lot of Japanese companies, they're like, "Oh yeah, we could either make money or we can make a little bit of money and then was it like just pull out real quick, so then we won't make the money that we won't make back what we used for it, so then we're just kind of in the red, so then then you're just kind of like, why though?" Yeah, sometimes I just think they're allergic. I think a lot of companies or a lot of execs are like allergic to money because they're always like thinking like, "Oh, if it fails or stuff," right? Like sometimes you just, and things, I don't think they have the nose for like good art or anything. So like maybe if you're good at, maybe it's like one of those things where if you're good at business, you're not good at like the whole like artsy stuff. So like it's hard to gauge. Like, oh yeah, this like, or like you've probably seen it, right? Like some people are like, "Oh man, this is going to be really good." Like some kind of like, no, business guy like, "Oh, this game's gonna be great, right? People are gonna love it. I played it and stuff. It's great." To them, it's great. Then the normal people play it like, "What the hell?" It's almost like the before I go my last tangent before I get off is if you ever look up the story of Final Fantasy 13, the original 13, and how grandiose the idea was, but when they were making the game, at a certain point they just told the writers, right? Like I think they fired a lot of their writers and told them, like, yeah, people don't care about story, they just like gameplay. So that's why if you ever play 13, you feel it's kind of like weirdly disjointed. Like certain parts are like, okay, this plays like a Final Fantasy. Other times are like, you just want, it's like like a whole one set piece that you want me to just walk through? Like what? Yeah, that game has so much potential. And I also think they didn't realize how to write Lightning. Lightning was supposed to be a female Cloud, but if you look at Cloud in the remakes, he has way more like personality. Hmm. Yeah, so I think back then they didn't understand like the characterization of Cloud. So that's why they made like Lightning really flat, but then in the later games she became like more like, no, she has her own personality. She could have been like 100 times cooler right off the bat, but they kind of dropped the ball on that one. Honestly, if it was me, if I just had me, I'll never be a billionaire, but if I was one, I'll just remake that game. Like I'll just any childhood game. I was like, yeah, throw money at it. We'll remake it and make it cool. Why not? Instead of doing a whole bunch of this like annoying remasters, just remake it. But you have to have it remade by the fans, though. You can't have someone who never played it remake it, you know. And that was my little tangent. Bye bye. So guys, one more time. Bye bye. And with that, I hope you guys have a good one. Hope you were able to be energized this week. Got some good time off. And we'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, everyone.